Welcome to our video on the top 10 most dangerous foods in the world. Food is one of life's greatest pleasures, but some dishes come with a side of danger. Around the world, certain foods are prized for their flavors, but carry risks that might shock you. Whether it's a daring culinary adventure or an unsuspecting kitchen ingredient, these are the foods you'll think twice about trying. Let's dive in. Kicking off our list at number 10 is Akie. Akie is Jamaica's beloved national fruit. It's a key ingredient in the country's famous dish, ackee and saltfish. However, hidden inside is a dangerous toxin called hypoglycin A. If you eat ackee before it's ripe or if it's not prepared correctly, you could end up with Jamaican vomiting sickness. You might start throwing up, have seizures, or even fall into a coma. At a cellular level, the hypoglycin A messes with your body's ability to process fats. It can lead to low blood sugar and other serious problems. This can make your body's energy system go haywire. But don't worry, when ackee is ripe and cooked the right way, it's perfectly safe to eat. Only eat the yellow parts of the fruit after it has opened naturally, and always make sure it's well cooked. Despite its potential dangers, ackee remains a huge part of Jamaican culture. It's featured in many celebrations and everyday meals. So next time you're in Jamaica, go ahead and try some ackee. Just make sure it's from a trustworthy source that knows how to prepare it safely. At number 9, we have blood clams. Blood clams get their name from their peculiar appearance. When you crack one open, you'll see a bright red liquid inside. The red liquid inside is not blood, but a high concentration of hemoglobin that helps these clams survive in low oxygen environments. But what makes blood clams dangerous? These clams carry more dangerous diseases like hepatitis A, typhoid, and dysentery. Their low oxygen habitats are perfect breeding grounds for harmful bacteria and viruses. In 1988, Shanghai experienced a massive hepatitis A outbreak linked directly to these seemingly innocent shellfish. Over 300,000 people were exposed to the virus, making it one of the largest outbreaks in history. So, are people still eating blood clams today? Despite the known dangers, some people still seek them out. They were once popular in Chinese cuisine, but many have wisely decided to pass on this risky dish. If you're a seafood lover, don't worry. There are plenty of safer alternatives. Manila clams and little neck clams offer similar flavors without the same level of risk. Sliding into number 8 is marzu. Marzu, which means rotten cheese in Sardinian, starts out as a regular pecorino cheese. But to make marzu, cheesemakers let cheese flies lay eggs in it. As the eggs hatch, the larvae eat through the cheese, breaking down its fats. This process makes the cheese super soft and creamy. You can even see little drops forming on top, called tears. When you eat marzu, the larvae are still alive and wiggling. These tiny critters can survive in your stomach and cause some health problems. You might end up with severe stomach pain, throwing up, or even bloody diarrhea. Because of these health risks, marzu is actually banned in many places, including Italy and the United States. But that hasn't stopped some Sardinians from making and enjoying their favorite cheese. So why do people still eat it? For many, marzu is more than just food. It's a part of their history and culture. They've been making and eating it for hundreds of years. From cheese filled with wriggling larvae, we're moving on to another dangerous delicacy. Our next item comes from the sea and is prized by food lovers. But it could also be a killer. Coming in at number 7 is fugu. This fish is so dangerous that chefs need special training just to serve it. Why is this seafood considered dangerous? Fugu contains a toxin called tetrodotoxin. This poison is 1,200 times deadlier than cyanide. Just a tiny amount could stop your breathing and shut down your organs. To prepare fugu safely, chefs go through years of intense training. They learn exactly how to cut the fish to remove the toxic parts. It's a high-stakes job where one wrong slice could mean life or death for their customers. Only after passing a tough exam can a chef get licensed to serve fugu. If someone eats badly prepared fugu, the results are terrifying. First, your mouth might feel numb. Then, the paralysis spreads. You could have trouble breathing, and your heart might stop. Fugu has been part of Japanese cuisine for centuries. That's why it's still being served. It's seen as a luxury food, often served on special occasions. In Japan, fugu is tightly controlled. Only licensed restaurants can serve it. But even with these rules, fugu still causes deaths every year. Some people try to prepare it at home, which is super dangerous. Others might eat too much of the liver, which is the most toxic part. Now for our next risky food, get ready to learn about a common plant that has a dangerous secret. Number 6 on our list are rhubarb leaves. You might all sorts of gardens are full of harmless plants, but there's a sweet and sour plant that could be actually dangerous for your health. Rhubarb is a popular plant that can be planted in gardens. Its tart stalks are perfect for pies, jams, and other tasty treats. But their leaves are dangerously toxic. The culprit behind this danger is a substance called oxalic acid. While the stalks contain small, safe amounts, the leaves are packed with this poison. When you eat too much oxalic acid, it can cause serious problems in your body, especially for your kidneys. If someone accidentally eats rhubarb leaves, they might experience symptoms like a burning feeling in the mouth. Then breathing can also become difficult. In severe cases, it can lead to seizures and even shut down your kidneys completely. But how much of these leaves would someone need to eat for it to be really dangerous? For an adult, eating just 15 to 30 grams of oxalic acid could be fatal. That's about a plateful of rhubarb leaves. However, there's no need to rip out your rhubarb plants just yet. The stalks are perfectly safe and delicious when prepared properly. To be safe, always remove and discard the leaves when harvesting rhubarb. Never use them in cooking or eat them raw. It's also important to teach kids about the dangers of rhubarb leaves. Make sure they know which parts of the plant are safe to eat and which aren't. If you have pets, keep them away from rhubarb leaves too, as they can be harmful to animals as well. Despite its toxic leaves, rhubarb remains a beloved ingredient in many kitchens. Its unique flavor adds a special zing to desserts and savory dishes alike. Just remember to stick to the stalks, and you'll be able to enjoy this garden gem safely. From the dangers lurking in your backyard, we're about to dive into something even more extreme. Our next food item takes fermentation to thrilling and extreme new heights. Halfway through our list, at number 5 is Hawar. This food is so pungent that it's been called the worst thing ever tasted. Hawar, Iceland's infamous fermented shark delicacy. Hawar comes from the Greenland shark meat, which is toxic when fresh. To make it edible, Icelanders bury the shark in the ground for several months. This lets it ferment and break down dangerous compounds. After that, they hang it to dry for a few more months. This long process produces a strong-smelling food that's safe to eat, if you can stomach it. The smell of Hawar is intense, like very strong ammonia. This comes from the breakdown of urea in the shark's flesh. The taste is just as powerful. But Hawar isn't just about the smell and taste. If it's not prepared correctly, it can be dangerous. Eating under-dried or poorly fermented shark meat can lead to serious stomach problems. You might end up with severe nausea, vomiting, and other unpleasant symptoms. In the past, Icelanders had to preserve food to survive long, harsh winters. Hawar was a way to make use of the plentiful Greenland sharks. Over time, it became a part of Iceland's culture. Today, Hawar is still enjoyed during traditional celebrations. Many Icelanders see eating it as a rite of passage. It's a way to connect with their ancestors and show their toughness. For tourists, trying Hawar is often a bucket list item, a true test of culinary bravery. From fermented fish to living seafood, our next dangerous delicacy is even more extreme. Get ready to meet a dish that's still moving when it reaches your plate. At number 4, we have Sonaki. Sonaki is a Korean delicacy made from live octopus, but here's the twist. The octopus is served while its tentacles are still moving. When the chef cuts up the octopus, its nervous system keeps working. This means the tentacles on your plate are still wiggling and squirming. Now, you might think the danger is just for show, but there's a real risk here. The octopus tentacles have active suction cups that can grip your throat if you're not careful. There have been cases where people choked while eating Sonaki. The suction cups can stick to the inside of your throat, blocking your airway. That's why it's always advised that you chew thoroughly if you decide to try this dish. So, how do you do it safely? First, make sure to chew each piece really well. This breaks up the tentacles and stops them from suctioning to your throat. Some people also like to wrap the octopus around their chopsticks or dip it in sesame oil. The oil can help reduce the suction power of those clingy tentacles. Despite the risks, Sonaki remains popular in Korea. It's seen as a delicacy and a test of bravery. Many people enjoy the unique texture and freshness of the dish. It's often served with a side of soy sauce or sesame oil for dipping. Sonaki is part of Korean food culture, showing their love for super fresh seafood. Just make sure if you try it, you're in a place that knows how to prepare and serve it safely. From live tentacles to hidden toxins, our next dangerous food item is a staple food that's loved as a dessert ingredient by millions, but hides a potentially deadly secret. Number 3 on our list is cassava. Cassava is a root vegetable that's a crucial part of many people's diets, especially in West Africa and South America. It's packed with carbs and energy, making it perfect for those who need lots of fuel for their day. However, cassava contains compounds that can turn into cyanide in your body. These compounds are called cyanogenic glucosides. When cassava isn't prepared properly, these glucosides can release hydrogen cyanide, which is very toxic. To eat cassava safely, soak the roots for at least 4 to 6 days before cooking. This process helps break down those dangerous compounds and makes the cassava safe to eat. Cooking it thoroughly is also super important. In 2017, Uganda saw an outbreak of cyanide poisoning linked to cassava flour. A lot of people got sick, and some people died due to this poisoning. Cassava is tough and can grow in harsh conditions where other crops fail. It's a lifeline for millions of people, providing essential calories and nutrition. From hidden plant toxins to visible ocean dangers, our next item takes us back to the sea. It's small, but it packs a seriously lethal punch. Nearing the top of our list, at number 2 is pufferfish roe. When it comes to dangerous foods, size doesn't always matter. Imagine a delicacy so deadly. We're talking about pufferfish eggs, the hidden threat that makes fugu look tame. You might remember fugu, the Japanese pufferfish, that can be deadly if not prepared correctly. But did you know that the eggs of this fish are even more dangerous? Pufferfish roe contains way more tetrodotoxin than the flesh. Because of this extreme toxicity, pufferfish roe is actually illegal in many countries, including Japan. So it's unlikely we'll see pufferfish roe become widely available. The risks are just too high. But scientists are studying tetrodotoxin for potential medical uses, like pain management. So while we probably won't be seeing pufferfish egg sushi anytime soon, this powerful toxin might one day help save lives instead of threatening them. From one risky fish dish to another, our final dangerous delicacy is also an acquired taste with deadly potential. Finally, at number 1 is Fesk. Fesk is a special kind of fermented fish that Egyptians have been eating for ages. It's a big part of their spring holiday called Sham el-Nasim. To make Fesk, they take mullet fish, dry it in the sun, and then let it sit in salt for weeks. This makes the fish soft and gives it a strong flavor that many people love. If Fesk isn't made just right, it can be really dangerous. The biggest worry is something called botulism. It's a serious illness caused by a toxin that can grow in the fish if it's not salted enough. If someone eats Fesk with this toxin, they could get very sick. They might have trouble breathing or even become paralyzed. So how are the authorities dealing with this? They're trying to find a balance between keeping the tradition alive and making sure people stay safe. They tell people to only buy Fesk from shops they trust. These shops have to follow strict rules to make sure the fish is safe to eat. Even with these dangers, many still love Fesk. Every spring, families get together to enjoy this special dish, just like their ancestors did for thousands of years. And there you have it, the top 10 most dangerous foods in the world. As we've seen with the foods on our list, even the most beloved dishes can hide some surprising dangers. It just goes to show that when it comes to food, knowledge is power, and a little caution can go a long way in keeping us safe and healthy. What's the most dangerous food you've ever eaten? Or is there one from this list that's now on your never try list? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. If you found this video fascinating, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest health tips and information. Thanks for watching, and eat safely.